G'day everyone, I'm David Reidy. Welcome to Piano Finally, a podcast by an old bloke who's getting around to learning the piano. Finally. Welcome to show number 81. Thank you very much for downloading the show. If you're a regular listener, then thanks for your support. But if this is the first time you're hearing the podcast, I hope you enjoy what's in the show. And if you like what you hear, consider subscribing. Are you also learning a musical instrument? If you are, let me know how you're going with it. You can contact me at david@pianofinally.show. It's still the school holidays, and I've been spending some of my time getting ready for the new school year. The weather has been quite hot over the past few days, with temperatures reaching the 40s and 43 degrees Celsius today. It's meant to get cooler in the coming week. There was a minor glitch with last week's show. The short pieces of Bach's crab canon that I used between segments were missing, replaced by the same length of time in silence. I'm not sure how that happened. The segments are in the correct spots in the computer files, but there was just silence. Maybe the ghost of John Cage interfered. Once again this week, the show is being recorded on Saturday. I have the choir rehearsal tomorrow, not today, as I said last week, and then I leave for Queensland straight afterwards. I'll get the podcast all set up and ready to go, and just push the publish button on Sunday evening. I wasn't planning a Queensland trip until this week, when the 3D printer I bought for Nix and Hallie and Ace arrived, and no one knew how to put it together, so I'm heading up north. I'll have to record next week's show while I'm away, so it might be missing the progress section. If I don't get a chance to record my progress, I do have an idea I can use in its place. We'll see how it goes. I've mentioned Matthew Carwood's YouTube channel on the podcast before. Matthew makes a wide range of videos, including really specific topics, analysis of his subscribers' keyboard playing, and reaction videos where he looks at other YouTubers' videos. It's a great channel to follow, and one of the ones I recommended on my list recently. One of Matthew's recent videos is called 30 Piano Techniques Explained in 15 Minutes, and it does exactly that, although it takes 16.5 minutes, and there are 32 of them. As he says at the beginning, you probably know some of these already, and I did, but Matthew's demonstrations at the keyboard are really clear, and a bit of revision never hurts. Matthew starts with touch and articulation. He demonstrates the different types of legato and staccato playing, in each case showing what it's supposed to sound like, as well as just playing something using it. After 2 years of learning the piano, you'd think I would have at least heard of all the techniques, but this isn't the case. I'd heard of the first few, but hadn't come across octave legato as a playing technique, and there were others. After articulation, the next section is ornaments. I've just started with trills in the trumpet piece, so I was interested to see what else there is in the future. It turns out there are many more ornaments to come. Matthew illustrates both the playing technique and the notation, and points out the differences between ornament types. For example, he shows how an appoggiatura and an accacciatura differ from each other. In the next section, bass patterns and textures, Matthew starts with the Alberti bass and moves on through the pa-pa pattern, a term I didn't know was official. Each of the patterns is shown in a piece of music where it is used, for example, in a Chopin waltz for the pa-pa. Matthew shows voicings and gives hints on how to make the different notes stand out. The final section looks at different pedaling techniques, again with examples of each. Rather than put a camera on the floor, Matthew holds up an electronic pedal and works with it in his hand while explaining. There are 2 bonus techniques tacked onto the end, one of which I'd never heard of before, but I won't spoil it here. All in all, this is a really great video with lots of useful content and examples. It's one of those pieces that is worth coming back to again and again as you progress in your learning. There's a link in the show notes. Play what you like. If you use YouTube a lot, you'll know that it spends a lot of its processing power finding other videos for you to watch. In particular, it promotes shorts. It would be nice to have a way of turning many of its suggestions off, but even paying for YouTube Premium doesn't allow that. I rarely watch the shorts, preferring the longer form content, but one caught my eye in the new year, so I watched it. It's a short called When You See a Piano at a Christmas Party by David Snyder. There's a link to it in the show notes. And it's David being asked to play something Christmassy, so he launches into some appropriate music, only for it to be unappreciated by his audience until he lands on Jingle Bells, which he doesn't enjoy playing. It's a fun little piece, and David is clearly a good piano player, which is not surprising as he has a touring show. It got me thinking about how, as learners, we choose the music we play, or how it's chosen for us. Thinking back to my first piano lesson, which was a bit less than 2 years ago, I had no idea what music I would be playing. At that first lesson, my teacher, Finn Purcell, got out a copy of Denis Agay's The Joy of First Year Piano, and we started working through it. It turned out to be a really good choice. There was no way this music was going to be used for anything other than learning, but all the tunes were musical and pleasant to play, which meant I got enjoyment of being able to make music rather than just notes at the piano. Why was this important? Well, if you're just starting out, you occasionally want to show people what you're up to, so being able to play something that sounds like a tune is much better than demonstrating that you can play a scale. I'm saying this as an adult learner. A child learner really doesn't have to justify what they're doing. Learning a musical instrument is a fairly standard thing to do if you're under 10 years old. But as an adult, other adults are usually curious as to why you have started. Being able to play something a bit musical lets them see that you are actually achieving something, not just messing about. Over the next year, the choice of music stayed pretty much as a learning path. Much of the time, it was simply getting used to the keyboard and working at translating printing on the score into finger movements. It was still important to me that whatever I was playing was musical. One of the ways I monitor my playing is to know what the music is meant to sound like. Once I have a grasp on how it should sound, both melodically and rhythmically, then I can easily notice mistakes as I play and go back and try and fix them. After a year of learning, I made a minor change to the way I select pieces. They still have to be musical, but they should also be teaching me something new. As you'd know from previous shows, I buy a lot of books from the different examination boards because they are already at around the right level, and they are generally musical, and they include techniques that I should be at by that level. With Debbie's advice and encouragement, I have also been a bit more adventurous in choosing the pieces. I've said before that jazz and blues are not my favourite music genres. I can appreciate them from a musical and technical point of view, and I have great respect for the musicians who can put together such complex performances. But it's not my first choice. When Debbie suggested the Blackout Blues piece, I was a bit hesitant, but it had a more interesting rhythm and sound than the pieces I had been playing up to that point, so I gave it a go. Blackout Blues quickly became one of my favourite pieces. It had an interesting sound, and it was recognisably different to the usual learning pieces. It became one of those pieces I would play when asked to show someone how my piano playing was coming along. As one of the main reasons I'm learning to play the piano is so I can play for other people, finally having a piece or two that could fill that role just a little felt like real progress. As my skills have improved slowly, I've been able to consider a wider range of pieces. I'm still learning and will be for a long time yet, so I can't be too ambitious, but the pieces in the different books are starting to sound a bit more complex and interesting. If you've been listening to the progress sections of the shows, you'll know that I've added a piece that is well outside the range of my skills at the moment. Adding Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata makes no pedagogical sense, but I'm really enjoying learning it. If I was strictly following a curriculum, this piece is many years away, but that's not why I picked it. I picked it because I like it, and I can handle it well enough that the first few bars are starting to sound good. Every time I play it, I enjoy the experience. The skills I'm picking up are useful, though they are coming quite slowly, but it sounds like real concert piano music, and that's great. The new Grade 1 pieces I've selected also sound interesting. They are educational too, but if I'm going to spend hours and hours practicing them, then I have to like them as well. There's certainly a place for learning syllabus pieces because they will more quickly advance your learning. But I'm not a younger student hoping to get through all the grades before I leave school. I can choose pieces that I enjoy and stray away from the quickest path to look off into the distance. So if you're an adult learner who is primarily learning for enjoyment, then forget the most efficient path and play what you like. For the last part of the review of YouTube channels I watch regularly, I thought I would include some of the businesses I follow. When I'm looking to buy equipment or accessories, I spend a lot of time looking at unboxing videos and reviews, both from independent YouTubers and businesses. In the course of doing that, I found a few businesses that are worth looking at because they produce content that isn't solely directed at getting you to buy things. So, in no particular order, here we go. Stu Harrison at Merriam Pianos is one of my favourite presenters. Like all the businesses in this list, Merriam carries a wide range of pianos and keyboards from multiple manufacturers, so they don't need to push one brand over another, which I hope makes their reviews more unbiased. Great though the reviews are, it is the comparison videos that are the best part of the channel. Stu is not afraid to put the big brands up against each other to compare, and those comparisons are quite detailed, with lots of playing examples included. The production quality of the videos is great, and you can hear the points Stu makes in the comparisons. Not all the comparisons are Stu's opinions. There have been a number of videos where others are brought in. For example, in one, younger students were given a $20,000 and a $200,000 piano to play and asked for their preferences. Nearly all of them picked the $200,000 one. With Stu's clear and easy manner and thoroughly explained comparisons, Merriam Pianos is a channel to keep an eye on. Robert Estrin is the face of Living Pianos videos. You'd be forgiven for not realising that this channel is associated with the shop, as it is fairly rare that Robert ever mentions anything they have for sale. It appears that the business specialises in second-hand instruments, so unless you live within shipping distance, you don't need to worry about their reviews, which I'm sure are truthful and accurate. Robert, whose father was also a famous pianist, tells stories about piano performances and tips about playing different pieces. There are stories about working as a professional pianist, as Robert has had quite a long career performing around the world. These videos are always great fun, and Living Pianos is a channel well worth checking out. If you're tired of the North American take on pianos and keyboards, then Anderton's will come as a welcome change. Anderton's is based in the United Kingdom and is fronted by Jack Duxbury, who has a very enthusiastic way of presenting whatever the channel is covering, from lessons for beginners to equipment reviews to equipment shootouts. The channel is full of energy. The shootout videos are often lots of fun, as the tester will usually be a local musician who is blindfolded while they test the different instruments. Like other stores, Anderton's carries a wide range of brands, so although Jack admits to being a Nord fan, the reviews are unbiased and reliable. Jack isn't the only presenter. Michael joins in when covering more classical style instruments such as the Nord pianos. If you want a change of accent and perspective for your instrument reviews, check out Jack, Michael, and the others over at Anderton Synths. Bonner's Piano and Keyboards is another UK-based group of piano centres. Tony fronts the channel, reviewing keyboards and pianos from a classical and jazz pianist's perspective. These reviews are always very performance-heavy, with lots of examples to back up the points Tony is making. There's a lot of Nord and Kawai content, so you can see why I like the channel. I think Alamo Music was the first shop channel I encountered when starting to look at moving up from my first keyboard. The channel is fronted by Ted Barcelo, and as you can guess from the name, they're located in Texas in the United States. Ted has been in the music industry for a very long time and often includes anecdotes from his experiences. Often, instead of a review, Ted will be joined by another musician to talk about their musical journey. And although you might expect a lot of country and western, most of the musicians are actually classically trained. Alamo is definitely worth a watch for an interesting and unique take on the instruments and the people that play them. Tomorrow is the next choir rehearsal. The following Sunday is the next one, and then the dress rehearsal is on Saturday the 24th and the performance on Sunday the 25th. I've been sent a mood board for what to wear to the dress rehearsal and performance. Unfortunately, it's not jeans and a t-shirt, so I'm going to have to go shopping. I'm heading to Queensland tomorrow after the rehearsal and will be back in time for the following one. Although I'm recording this on Saturday and will edit it before I leave, I'll still post it on Sunday to stay consistent. Expect the next show on time next week, but there might be a small change to its structure. Also, just before I went to record this episode, I found that YouTube has made a change to their search settings, and you can now exclude shorts from the search and the homepage. Now, if they would make a requirement that AI content be flagged so it too can be removed, the internet will become just a little bit better. If you'd like to contact me, email is the best way. You'll find me at david@pianofinally.show and the website at www.pianofinally.show. In both cases, Piano Finally is all one word. The show is also available on Spotify and as an audio-only stream on YouTube. You can subscribe via any popular iOS or Android podcast application, or from directories such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. I also post an excerpt and link for each episode as an Instagram reel. If you're learning an instrument, let me know where you are in your journey, what's going well, and what are the challenges. How are you managing your time? What do you enjoy practicing? And so until next week, I hope your piano stays in tune and you enjoy your time at the keys. A Wild Chase is still coming along. It's getting better. If I play the beginning slowly, I can keep the tempo fairly consistent throughout. I'm working on speeding up the middle, as the whole thing is meant to be played quite quickly. The Trumpet Tune is improving, so I'm now concentrating on the articulations and the next 8 bars. Christopher Healy's C Song is also progressing slowly. Getting the slightly more complex rhythm correct is taking some time. Moonlight Sonata is not moving on. Up to where the melody begins is working, mostly, but not past that point. I've been leaving it until last because of the left-hand octaves, so it's been getting the least amount of practice of everything. As I said, I'm going to Queensland for the next week, which means I won't get much practice in, but I'll see what I can manage. I was going to start another new piece this week, but that will have to wait until I get back. The music was recorded using the Kawai NV10 as the keyboard, the M4 Pro Mac Mini running Cubase 15 and Pianotech 9, with Pianotech 9 emulating a Siguro Kawai SKEX grand piano in concert mode.